a follow-up to Blue and how he's doing. Hey guys, I'm Kaylin, the author of the Parrot Bliss Bond. I have over 22 species of parrots. Parrots are my bliss. I love my parrots. This is Blue, our Quaker parrot, who was surrendered to us more than a year ago, right? Has it been a year? Like Blue, time flies. And recently, I will put a link to the previous video, if nothing else, in the first comment. Blue decided to take on my yellow-naped Amazon. She was on one shoulder. He flew on to the other shoulder. She can't fly. And I guess he was being jealous, and he, I think, was trying to get her to leave and leave me alone. Really strange. Blue, we allow him to fly around the house because he isn't confrontational. He isn't aggressive. He likes our Quaker pair, but they kind of are like, we're a pair, and even though we're communal birds, we don't want you around. And so Blue connects with us. He doesn't connect with any other birds. And I think he was trying, no, sorry, come back. He was trying to connect with me, and he got in a fight with Lorenza. So his beak had been looking really bad. And now I'm showing you both sides of the beak. You could see the skin, and I'm thrilled because if you see that, you can see that it's all connected, which is really important. You could see that there's some dry, and I am not cleaning it because I want it to clot however it wants. Sometimes when you wash something, you know, it takes away the clot. And the problem with beak injuries is that there's not much that can be done. In other words, if a human or a bird breaks a bone, a doctor can set it. If a human or a bird has something and requires surgery, the doctor can cutty, and whether it's human or bird, you know, perform an operation. If a human or a bird gets a bacterial infection, they can get medicine from a doctor. There is no cure for a beak. It's like, I guess it would be like your nail. I've never lost a nail, so I don't want to know. I think it grows back, but a beak doesn't, right? Like your nail, the beak grows out, but unlike your nail, or maybe like, if it gets detached at certain parts in the beak, in one part is where it gets connected, but I think also, like as the beak comes down, then it would be like ripping off your nail. It doesn't grow back. So beak injuries can be really dangerous. They're not wholly uncommon. They can happen. I've had a couple people say, oh, yeah, you know what, my bird had a beak injury. You know, it can happen. And if it happens to you, to your bird, the number one thing you want to try to do is to get the beak to stop bleeding, because a parrot can bleed to death. If it's a small bird and it's painful and it's enough of a beak injury, it is enough to kill them. Smaller parrots can die just from shock. So I'm really grateful. Number one, we did get the blood to stop, you know, we got it to clot. Number two, it didn't affect his eating. So I think it wasn't bad. I mean, he was right with me, and I instantly, I mean, it was like, it's like on over here, so I can't see and I don't know what I'm doing. And I was like kind of shaking, because that's what I'll do. I'll shake to try to get them to fall off, because I'd rather have them fall. I don't think that's going to be as much of an injury as if they're like, ah. So hopefully I reacted soon enough, because he really isn't too bad, and he really is doing better. The other thing is, if your parrot has an injury like that, you want to make sure they're eating. I think that if you take them to the vet as fast as you can, it's probably a really good thing. But if they're not bleeding, we cleaned the injury with, I like to use hydrogen peroxide. We got it to stop bleeding, and it didn't stop him from eating. So it's not even stopping him from preening me. So that all worked out, and he's doing well. This is the third time we've had a beak injury in the last couple of years, and I think we've had one a year for the last 3 years, and before that, I can't remember the last beak injury. Blue's looked the worst because it was like all the way on his upper mandible, and so it's like, oh my God. But fortunately, I think it looked worse than it was. Rosie got a beak injury from Orbella. Same thing, we cleaned it up. It wasn't, none of her her mandible got lifted, so that was really good. And we had a green cheek conure that got caught in our aviary, and so we threw the aviary out. The aviary, because it was aluminum, like for the sides, the walls, instead of bars, it was, you know, kind of crisscross. It was perfect for small birds, but some of my bigger birds got in there, and, you know, they just like to, you know how they are with the beaks, they just bend things. And so one of our green cheeks got a cut right here. It bled, but it, you know, it didn't lift anything. He has recovered. It's been, like I said, like 2 years, so it's totally fine. But we did clean them up. And I always check with my vet. When I next took Rosie in, she looked at the beak injury and she's like, nope, this is all good. So I don't want you to get the impression that you should not take your parrot to the veterinarian. I think that if nothing else, you know, if you take your parrot to the veterinarian and there's no gram stain, there's no culture, there's no blood work, there's no x-ray, it's just an office call, and that's enough for them to look at it, make sure it's clean. If they feel like it's been exposed, maybe give you an antibiotic, and that's a good thing. And so that, depending on your vet, you know, some of them just for the office call. Some of my vets are a little under 100, some are a little over 100. Sometimes it depends on the size of the bird. But you're looking at, you know, that price range, but that should be it unless there's something major that they need to do. And so it's good to know, and it's good to have that preventative care, because you'd rather take your bird, I think, for the $100 or so and make sure your bird's okay, than lose your bird and be miserable and upset and sad, that kind of thing. So a couple people had asked for a Blue update, and you could see he was preening me. You could see it hasn't affected his behavior at all. He's good, he's happy, I'm thrilled. And as a little more time goes by, I'm sure that the dry blood will go away. If I look at it and I'm like, okay, this is good, I'll wash it. We cleaned it, like I said, we disinfected it, and then after that I'm like, I'm gonna just let it heal. I'm not gonna mess with it because it's doing really well. So now, quick announcement for you. I'm going to put a page together on my website. So my website is parrotbliss.com. If you do /cookbook, I am going to, under cookbook, put what I'm going to ask for you to submit a recipe, if you want to submit a recipe for my Parrot Bliss cookbook. I'm going to put a Parrot Bliss cookbook together and publish it, make it available for sale. I'm very excited about it, because one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to let you put your name on the submission. You do have to give me your source. Like if you invented it, that's fine. Or if you got it from a cookbook, I need that source, so that we are not plagiarizing anyone. We're giving credit where credit's due. And then, you know, if you have a URL or something that you want to put in there, up to 10 characters, we'll do that. And so I'm kind of excited. I'm very excited to receive your recipes. I'm going to categorize them into like chop kind of recipes, and I would call that fresh breakfast, or whatever meal you do, or a Nutriberry, like a treat recipe, or birdie cookies, birdie bread. So I'm very excited about that. So get your recipes together and get ready to submit them if you would like to do that and have your recipe published. That would be awesome. I am so looking forward to that. In the meantime, you can also just submit via the website, because there's a contact us kind of place where you can submit. All right, thanks for joining me in this Blue update. We will catch you in the next feathered video.